During this video, we're introducing you to the 5 main types of interview question that you're likely to come across. For each of these types, we've recorded a student attempting the question as a before video, and then having given them some coaching and some top tips, which we're going to share with you, giving the opportunity to have another go, so the after video. I'd like to understand what's a weakness that you've discovered that you've recently managed to transform into a strength.
I'm quite stubborn. It means if I push it hard enough, I can get my own way with quite a lot.
The inevitable weakness question. Examples of this question include: what do you feel is your main weakness? What's your greatest development need? Or perhaps, where does your competence fall short? Why do recruiters ask these questions? To check for self-awareness and reflection skills, really. Do you know your areas for development, and what plans do you have to address them? Again, it's a way of checking for authenticity and will you fit into the organisation's culture. So how do you answer them? The most important thing is to sound confident and be to the point. Tackle the question head on and in a professional way. Literally everybody has weaknesses, so don't choose something that is mission critical for the role, even if you are working on improving it. It's easier to focus on a hard skill which isn't central to the role, perhaps an IT package, or maybe Prince 2 project management, or using a particular piece of equipment, because these are easier to develop than something like leadership or empathy. Another angle which you might take is to mention a weakness around confidence in a particular area, maybe public speaking or dealing with conflict or chairing meetings. Please don't be cheesy and say, oh well, I work too hard, or I'm a perfectionist. Think of things that you may have struggled with in the past, such as organisational skills. You could talk about the workarounds that you've put in place, such as new diary habits or productivity apps, and how those have helped you achieve. Always discuss what you're doing to address the weakness and what progress you have made, and be as specific as you can. Finally, don't waffle and just choose one. This isn't confession time, and the recruiter is not a psychoanalyst. While watching this after video, see if you can notice how the candidate is applying some of the tips we've given you. See also if you can identify how they could do even better. And finally, ask yourself what you would do differently if you tackled this or a similar question. So Peter, I'd like you to give me an example of a weakness that you've discovered that you've recently transformed into a strength.
I got told quite a lot when I was younger that I am too stubborn for my own good. And when I started the Devisers to Westminster, there's quite a long application process internally with the club and with the organisation before you can start. And they sort of looked at me and said, look, you're really going to struggle with this. You're small, you're going to get really cold, and you're probably going to get hurt. And I turned around and sort of thought, right, because of that, I'm going to do it, just to prove a point. I didn't tend to have the best confidence in myself before that. And I think the more I stuck with it and turned up to training and went on all the days when it was like -6, -7, and actually went and did it, the more I did it, people were turning around and saying, oh, like maybe she can actually do it. And I have tried to bring that forward into quite a lot. With my A-levels, I really struggled with maths. And it got to a point in sort of March, April, that I'd completely given up, and I thought, you know what, like I can get through without a third A-level, it's fine. It really won't make that much difference. And it was my mum that sat me down and she said, look, just remember how you were with the kayaking. It paid off, you did as much as you could have done. Just stick with it. And I came out of it 6 marks off an A, which going from like a D in the mocks, I was chuffed with. And I think that sort of stubbornness got me in a lot of trouble when I was a lot younger. And I've sort of managed to turn it now into something that's more of a driver for me to do well than a block.
Excellent. Thank you. Here are some more examples of students attempting this type of question. Again, see how far they use the tips that we've given you to make it an effective answer, and think again about how you would do it differently. Maria, I noticed from your CV that during your placement year you gained some considerable experience in event management, and I'm curious to know, what did you learn as a result of that experience that you needed to improve?
So one thing that I learned during the process of organizing the conference for our sales specialists was definitely keeping up with the time management and keeping up with the scale, if I had to change one thing about the process, I would definitely make sure that we have a contingency plan in place if something happens outside of our control that we can't control. So one example that I would give is one of the main organizers. Unfortunately, he had a family situation that he had to attend to, and he was out of the business for 2 weeks. And as he was a key player, there was nobody that could replace him and his abilities, which we didn't expect to happen, and it happened very close to the event. So whilst trying to fill in for him and trying to complete his tasks, I think we struggled a little bit. And the whole process and the whole event would have gone much smoother if we were prepared and if we followed in with our timeline earlier.
Okay. Thank you very much. If you'd like to explore more about interview skills, there's loads more information on the resources section of My Future, including more videos of interviews and examples of other types of questions. Don't forget, you can always contact us in the Career Service if you want more information or help. We also run regular interview practice sessions where you'll be given individual feedback about your approach.